Hi, everyone. We want to have some time together to go through how to search for books and journal articles. I did one on JSTOR a while ago. I want to do the second one also going through JSTOR. We have already done how to register on JSTOR to have an account and then start searching for resources for your paper and research. Since we have done how to register on JSTOR already, I quickly want to go through how to search again in detail. The first part I want to do is to use subject category. Subject category, sometimes you can use title. Like you want to search a topic, then you go for title. But if you know your area of interest, you can search by subject. To demonstrate how to search by subject, you log in onto your account. I've signed in already into my account. Okay, let me do another one. I bookmark it already in my computer. So I'll just sign in. Sign in already. So you just sign in. You can watch my previous video on how to register, then sign in, then I come for the subject. When you open the subject area, you click browse, click subject. There are so many subjects that you can study depending on your area of interest and area of specialization. There are so many articles and books. Now, take for instance, if you are in African studies, so you have A's arranged in alphabetical order here. To my left, you have African studies, African American studies. Now you can come down to even arts and art history. Keep going, development studies, for those who are in development studies. So we have it here. Then you can come down right to philosophy and religion, bearing in mind that if you are doing theology, you have to go through religion to access your material. You can come down to medicine, health policy, agriculture, anthropology, geography, gender studies, so many of them, military studies, peace and conflict studies, for those in peace and conflict studies. Like myself, you can click this. Let me try peace and conflict studies. Now, on clicking peace and conflict studies, there are some areas you may want to examine depending on the topic you want to research. So, is it about peace building or international criminal justice or security or about military, depending on the area you want to further examine, or current research on peace and violence. Let me click this, current research on peace and violence. Then there's journal articles you can examine here. I have Christian peace initiatives in the 20th century from 1990. And just click depending on the dates you want to use. Let me go back a bit. I want to try another search category. Let us go for religion now. I click religion. Remembering that we are going through subject category. In religion, you can study theology, general religion. There are so many journal articles that relate to religion here. Well, Buddhist, Christian studies. We have Middle East book review, Catholic historical review, church history and religious culture, Keep going. Just go through to say the journal article that relates to your own area of specialization. We have International Journal for Philosophy of Religion, Japanese Religion, Journal of Biblical Literature, Journal of Africana Religions. We have Feminism and Feminist Studies in Religion. We have Journal of Islamic Studies. Let me click this, Journal of Islamic Studies. Then you have the list. So you can just go through each of them one after the other. This one is 2016 edition. And look at the topics that are available there if they relate to what you are writing on. So let me move back a bit and pick another subject category, implying that you can get a lot of resources for your work as you go through JSTOR. And let me try another subject category. We've done religion. Let us move up to, why can't we try development studies? Development studies. So we have African development, and economic development and cultural change, the Journal of African Research and Development, Journal of Third World Studies, Journal of Global South Studies, Journal of Environment and Development, Economic Digest. So you have a lot, so many journals that can be explored to search the topics you want to read about to gather material for your work. Let me also go for African studies before we leave this section. Here we have African Spectrum, African Affairs, African Issue, African Security. So just keep going through History of Africa, Islamic Africa, the Journal of African Cultural Studies. So you have the old time and you have the old resources to help you in searching for good materials to write your paper and do your research. So having done search by subject, that is the title of books and journal articles, we can also search the title of books, the title that relates to the topic you are writing. So you can go for that. Then what are you writing on? So you decide and pick. If it has to do with G, I'm going for G. So if your work relates to garden history, Geneva paper, geography, you can get as many resources as possible here under geography. But to make the work simple, I would suggest you go by advanced search. When you go for advanced search, you can actually put important words in your paper and search for it if it's available. Take, for instance, for those in religion, and you want to write a paper about Jesus, I will put Jesus here, and I want it to be in the title, because somebody may be called Jesus, who is the author of a book. I'm not looking for a book written by an author whose name is Jesus, living in a contemporary society. I want that Jesus to be in the title of that paper, which will refer to probably the Jesus I'm looking for, which is biblical Jesus. And I may want to find out if I can get works written also for the name Isa, that is Isa of the Quran. Then I will now search to find out any book on Jesus and Isa. Here I found 323 results. Then I will still closely examine if those articles, titles relate to what I want to study or I want to include in my work. So here, the first one that appears on the list is The Origin of Jesus Messiah, a kind of exegesis or interpretation of Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 and verse 18a. Matthew's use of the infancy tradition. If that relates to what you're studying, then you read it online or you save it. Since you've registered for this already, just click save. And when you want to cite it, you click cite. I did this in the previous video. You click cite and copy so that I'll be able to cite it correctly. Click cite. I use APA for my own writing. Copy it and paste it in the right place so that you use it to document your work in the future or whenever it's necessary. So I can read this one online, read the introduction. If it's in line with what you want to study, then read the whole article. If you feel it's not helpful, it won't contribute to your writing. After reading the introduction, you can just let it go and pick another source. So let's see the next one. How does Luke portray Jesus as servant of Yahweh? So this is a study of Luke, the book of Luke, Gospel according to Luke. So what is the relationship between Jesus and the Almighty God or Yahweh? So this is written in journal article Biblica in the year 2000. So I can read this one online and I can quote it, get the right citation, paste it in my Word document and read. If it's helpful, read the introduction if it's helpful, read the conclusion if it is helpful, then read the whole article. Be involved in the discussion. And the next one, who do you say that I am? Christians and Muslims disputing the historical Jesus. This is relevant to those who do comparative study. So you need this one, then read it online. You cannot just believe it. Read the introduction first, read the abstract. Actually, you can read the abstract, then go for the full article. You can come here. Since I'm not reading it now, I'll go back to my result. So with that, you can have a lot of resources for your paper. And let's check the left side. You can see you have 295 journals, actually 6 books. In case you want to read books, not the journals, then click books here. We have book chapters. If the title is relevant to your study, then you go for it. Yes, Talita Kum, an exploration of the image of Jesus as healer, physician, savior in the Synoptic Gospels in relation to the Asclepius cult. If it's related to you, you can download it straight away, not even reading online. You download it and put a proper citation. Another one, Jesus and Suffering. It's another book, other book chapter or a book. And if it is a document, you can just unclick the book chapter and check the documents that are available. So how Jesus, Lord of all. So many resources are available in this topic. So let's move back to where we came from. So I've tried to search Jesus and Isa. Let's try and search another one. So this method of searching is helpful if you know your topic, the topic you are writing on. It will be very easy for you to get resources for your work. Now, let me try another one. I want to try Abraham. Then, so it won't be Abraham alone if I'm doing comparative studies. I would like to put Ibrahim. Ibrahim. If there's something else, I can add another search box. I can put religion. It's not necessary anyway, but if you want it, fine. Then now click search, advanced search. Let's see how many resources we're going to have. I've got 2,801 results. Probably because I included religion. So if the search is so much, I may want to go back and remove religion. So let me go back to Abraham and put Ibrahim. Let me check this because 2,000 so much to read. Oh, see me, from 2,000, I'm now having 4,688 results. So I better stay with this. If I try another one, probably I'll get more than, I'll get more than 5,000. So let me stay here. Let me check these articles quickly and see if they're relevant to my paper. A comparative study of the intended sacrifice of Isaac, Ishmael in the Bible, and the Quran. Comparative study is done already. So let me hear what one of the scholars has to say about the sacrifice of Isaac in the Bible and Ishmael in the Quran. Let's see how they come about it. Let me hear what scholars have said. So Ayaz Afsar has written this in a very good journal, Islamic Studies, in 2007. I can cite it straight away. I use my own style. I use APA for mine. You can use MLA or Chicago, if whatever your university wants to use or recommends for you. And I can read it online. So it will be an act of injustice for me to write an article about Ishmael and Isaac's sacrifice without citing this particular author. He has done the great work already. So let me hear what he has in mind. Let me hear what he has in mind. He or she may have in mind. So read the abstract, read the introduction, and then this is the preview though. You can go into the full article, read everything free online. I can click this and read it online. So here we go. I got it. So read the abstract and the arrow to my right to the next page. Then I read it. We can make it bigger, full screen. To this second page. But when I'm citing it later, if I'm citing anything on this page, it will be page 484 of this very article. Then I continue another page, until I'm done. So if I read the abstract and I read the first part of the introduction, I can go to the conclusion. If it's relevant to what I'm writing, then I go for it. Now, let's see another article on Ibrahim and Abraham. And let us see if it's relevant to the topic I'm trying to research. Now, let's see next one, Abraham and Nimrod in the shadow of Zarathustra. go for the introduction, and go for the conclusion. His dividend, widening the economic growth and development benefits of the Abraham Accords. This is not necessarily biblical Abraham or Islamic Abraham. This is a different work entirely. But you want to have the idea of what they're saying, you can go for it. So we need to be able to distinguish between the words relevant to your topic and something similar, which is not really about your topic. That is when we are searching, we like to make sure what we search is in the title, not the author, because there are so many authors who are Abraham. So even though we were very careful in doing this search, we still got a document that is really not about the biblical and Quranic Abraham we're looking for. So I will not read that. Actually, you have 4,000, more than 4,000 to read anyway. So that is part of those you have to omit. Then go for another one. Sacrifice in modernity, community, ritual, identity. You can go through this if it has any relevance to your work. Well, on looking through this, I think it won't be relevant, but you can try it because Abraham coming up here is like author. See it. Wait a minute. Abraham. You have to read it to know, but I don't want to download this. I don't want to download it in my work. Shall we? Okay, just because of time, I don't want to download, but let me download it and see if it's relevant to biblical and the Quranic sacrifice. Sacrifice in modernity, community, ritual, identity, book title is here, nonviolence. Okay, let's see the introduction. Where is the abstract? I wish I could read the abstract so that it will be faster if it relates to the one I want to study. They view, on the one hand, secularization as an intrinsic outcome of especially Christianity, and point, on the other, to a nonsense post-secular condition of Western society, on and on. Because you got very short time to do all this, you can decide if you want to include this. Otherwise, you progress to another material. Here we go. I personally will go for this, sacrifice and Islamic identity. I want to study a topic on Abraham and Ibrahim, and I found sacrifice and Islamic identity. I can pick this straight away and read it. And you can see it anyway. The story of Ibrahim sacrificing his son plays an important role. So I will go for this rather than the previous one I just downloaded. So it means that searching actually is a hard work. There are those you will find useful, there are those you will find not useful. And because you have limited time for your study, you want to study for a year, 2 or 3 or 4, you can spend all your time on this. So pick the one that are relevant to you and go for it. And who takes on the Abraham story? So this is another relevant one. Then you just keep going. So you have 4,000, over 4,000 references available. I believe you should be able to get 1,000 that are relevant. Otherwise, you can search from here. You can actually include another word that will reduce this search. If I want to reduce it to Abraham only, Abraham, I reduce all my search to Abraham. I'm removing Ibrahim. So the difference is not much. I still have 4,000 plus. The story of Abraham in Islam, a geographical approach. This also is very relevant. I can use if I'm writing a paper on Ibrahim and Abraham. Now let's leave this quickly and go for another search category. Let us search, let's go for theology. Let's search Christology. Please. Christology. And what else should I add to Christology? Let me add doctrine. Doctrine. I'm searching Christology and doctrine now. Let me see what kind of resources I can get from here. I can get 6,000 again. Wow. So if I'm writing a topic in doctrine or Christology, you've got so many works to examine quickly. Just go through quickly and see the one that is relevant to you. Old Testament as a witness to Jesus Christ, historical criticism and theological exegesis of the Bible, according to Karl Barth. This is a very nice one. I'll go for that. Christian humanism, progressive Christianity, and social transformation. Let me think about that. Paul and the Hellenization of Christianity, if you like that. Origin, Greek philosophy, and the birth of the Trinitarian meaning of hypostasis. Then Nestorianism. So let's make a little amendment to this. Let us check, rather than Christology and doctrine, let us check Christology and Jesus. Let us see what we're going to get here. I'll go to detail again because of time. 9,000, wow. Historical Jesus in Polytheistic Christology, the point of Christology, reconfiguring the Akedah and recasting God, lament and divine abandonment in Mark. Let me think about that. So let's leave that. You can limit your search to books or journal or documents. And you can use dates. Let's try dates now. You can say you want to search from the one you have already on the screen. I want to limit my search to the last few years. Let's say since 1990 to 2022. From 1990 to 2022. So from what I have here, 6,000 references, I want to limit it to the past few years. So let us see what I will get. I got 5,000. That's still much. Okay, let me reduce it to how many years? 2,000, yeah, 2,000. So that it will just be for 22 years. The past 22 years, in the past 22 years, I can still get 3,000 works on Jesus and Christology. Shall I change it to 2010? All right. In 2010 to 2022, I got 1,545 works. So you can go through this if it's relevant to your topic. And then here we have creation's renewal in the Gospel of John. Luke's scriptural suffering Messiah is search for precedent, is search for identity. The Gospel of John and the 5 senses. All right. So you can use all the methods to search for materials that will be useful in writing your work. Let's quickly go through 2 more. Let's start for God. God and Allah. God and Allah. Let's see what we have. 18,000 words. All right. So the principles of Islamic contract law, salvation in Islamic perspective, the doctrine of the unicity of existence in the light of an 18th century Indian Sufi treaty, the Wadat al-Wujud by Bahar al-Ulum, Abd al-Ali Ansari al-Laknawi. So go through everything and decide, oh, this is another one. Universal love or one true religion, experimental evidence of the ambivalent effect of religious ideas on altruism and discrimination. So everything depends on what your topic is and search, then check the dates. If you want to recent works, put the date here and see what you're going to get. And last but not the least, let me look for Elisha. There's only one Elisha I want to search, but let me make it to be a title, not an author. I don't want author is Elisha. I want the title of the work to be Elisha, and I search. Okay, I got 478 results. The Elijah sagas. Some remarks on prophetic succession in ancient Israel. Elisha and the children, the question of accepting prophetic succession. So you have the list. Keep going through and say how much you get. But if you want more than 478, you can still put Elisha here. Elisha, and let it come up in all feeds, not necessarily as the title. And let's see what we got. We got 37,000 here. And that's so much. You can go through this. Probably you get more. The 7,000 references. Yeah, you can actually get relevant one. What have I done to you? 1 Kings chapter 19 from verse 19 to 21. A study of prophetic ethics. All right. So they're very relevant, actually. The affirmation of prophetic power and this construction of royal authority in the Elisha narratives. Of course, this is not relevant. This is not relevant. Elisha Gray and the telephone, that's not relevant. It's not what you're looking for. But yeah, another one. Elisha purifying the waters of Jericho. A plausible explanation of a drawing. So you can go through all this. You got so much. Well, I like this one. I like this particular one. Josephus' portrait of Elisha. Do you know Josephus? Josephus was a Jewish historian just a few years after Jesus' death and resurrection. So he lived in that first century, late first century. And he wrote a lot about Jewish people and their history and also about Jesus. So I would like to hear what he says about Elisha and also what he says about Jesus. So in summary, we have gone through how to search by subject so that you go for the title of articles relevant to your area of specialization. And we have gone through search by pick the topic you are writing about. Just put few words as key words here. Click search and amend by dates so that you'll be able to get relevant recent works and you'll be able to read as much as you can. So I hope this has been or will be useful to somebody out there. And if there's any question, you can leave question below. We'll try to answer as much as we can. In the next presentation, I will pay attention to searching of resources from Google Scholar. And have a wonderful day. God bless.